Thank you so much, Bree, for your time today. Really appreciate it. Would you please tell me a little bit about yourself?
Sure. I currently work at Amazon, used to be a coworker with you, and I am currently a product marketing manager for the customer experience on Amazon. But a little bit about myself, I am from Minnesota, lived in Seattle for about 4 years, and now I am lucky enough to be back in Minnesota. I recently got engaged, so I have a wedding this year as well. And
Congrats.
then, thank you. And I guess back to work stuff. I have been at Amazon for 3.5 years almost, in the marketing space the entire time, and have been in my current role now for about 3 to 4 months.
Awesome. So you said you were in Amazon for about 3.5 years. I know it's been a long time, but would you be able to tell me about a little bit on like how you came into the company? Like what was your process and like was this your first job after graduating from college and all that?
It was not my first job. My first job was working for a furniture company. I ran their website. And then I came to Seattle for a different role.
Mm,
And I played on a soccer team with a bunch of people that are at Amazon, and they were like, come and work with us. So I met my future hiring manager for coffee one day, and she was like,
oh
yep,
wow.
let's get this going. And so I started in the consumer electronics department in their marketing team, and I was in charge of all of the marketing execution for all of our vendors, with a bunch of different fun
Yeah.
electronics categories.
Yeah. Were you excited when you first got that job offer from the company?
Yes, I was very excited, and it was doing things that I felt like I was really good at. And
Okay.
so it was like, sweet, I'm going to be good at this. Like, I can do
Awesome.
this. So
Yeah,
I was
yeah.
really excited.
Yeah, awesome. So you told me that you now work as a product marketing manager. Can you tell me a little bit about so what the team is and then what you do, and then maybe a little bit about your day to day?
Yeah, absolutely. The team is the private brands team. So Amazon does a lot of their own in-house products, and I'm on the Softlines team. So I work with the experts in fashion, and I specifically work on our product pages for all of the Softlines private brands. And so that is everything from the image blocks with models in them so you can see them wearing the clothes, to product descriptions, to bullet points, to any other creative content that might be on our product pages. And day to day, for the image blocks, I will be thinking about what models we want to put in those image blocks. If it should all be women that are extra smalls, or if we have an extra small, maybe we should also have an extra large, just
Mhm.
because we want to focus so much on the customers.
Yeah,
And personally, I want to see somebody that looks like me when I'm shopping. And so we want to make sure that every Amazon customer sees somebody that looks like themselves while they're shopping on the Amazon
gotcha.
private brands.
In terms of jumping into or coming into Amazon, working as a marketer, and you worked as a marketer before, but was there any learning curves? And also, it seems like you've been doing, multiple roles within the company. And were there any learning curves when you jumped from one role to another within the company?
Yes, good question. I would say joining Amazon, there was absolutely a learning curve. And Yang, you might disagree with this, but it's more so on the Amazon fundamentals learning curve. Like, you have to understand how the Amazonians talk, how they're emailing each other, how they're communicating, in what way. There's all sorts of tools you have to learn. And so my experience is the biggest learning curve is the Amazon learning curve. Role to role, I would say that the learning curve is not crazy. I mean, you're going to have different stakeholders, you're going to have
Mm,
different problems to solve, but as long as you have that like fundamental Amazon acronym knowledge and things like that, you will be okay. And
gotcha.
it's fun to get to know different stakeholders because they do encourage the changing around.
Yeah. I absolutely agree with you with the learning curve when you join Amazon. I mean, I definitely had it,
Yes.
and just coming from a different background from like smart devices where we just sell one product and that's it, versus here it's just like so much engagement with the customers and stuff. So it's just so much different. So yeah, I totally agree with you. Yeah.
Quite a learning curve.
Yep. Yep. Um, what do you like the most, and what do you like the least about your role?
Yeah, I'll have to think about the least, but most with the product pages that we have, I can go as big as my brain can let me. Essentially, I can test anything I want to test. If
Mhm.
I want to put the product page in backwards order, I can test that. And so that's one thing that's really, really cool. And so a lot of it's just like sitting down and thinking, like, what do I want the customer experience to be? And then actually watching and getting the data to see, am I right? Was I wrong? And so the data will always tell us which way to go. But I mean,
Mhm.
I always have the opportunity and the control to test anything I want. Or if I want to go from 2 images with a model to 100, it's up to me to test it. Least favorite thing. I don't think this is specific to a role. I think just Amazon in general, which this is just, I think, a part of living, is just like the day-to-day work that you just have to do to get through.
Yeah,
It's not the fun strategy piece of it, but I
sure.
mean, somebody has to do it to make sure the business runs smoothly. So
Yeah.
I don't think there's anything. I mean, I haven't been in the role too
Yeah.
long yet, but I
Yeah,
don't want
yeah.
to jinx myself.
Yeah, yeah. No, that makes total sense. Just kind of a follow-up question. So you mentioned something about testing, and like that's one of the things that I really love about working it here in Amazon as well. Just like you are basically the owner of what you do, and like you get to choose, and you get to decide what you want to do. Tell me about. So we kind of touched this before when you said, just like on the learning curve side about learning how Amazonians talk, learning how everyone communicates, and like how we work and stuff. Can you tell me a little bit about like the culture, and then yeah, let's just start with the culture.
Yes. Culture is very, very important to me. I have worked places that it wasn't fun to be there all day, every day. And so I never want to be in an environment or make an environment that way where somebody doesn't want to come to work.
Mm,
And so I personally try to have the most fun with my coworkers and try not to be as serious in every meeting. And so I personally think that the culture is great, but I mean, I think everyone has their responsibility in making a great culture.
yeah.
But every team I've been on is so welcoming. We'll just have casual lunches where we all sit in front of our monitor and eat in front of each other, even though it didn't used to be like that pre-COVID. And so it's a great environment. I think just like any other workplace, you make it how you want to make it. But everyone is so welcoming and warm and willing to help, and that Amazon's
Yeah.
a tough place to work, and so they do a good job at the
Yeah.
culture.
Yeah. I think one of the myth that's out there, and I also kind of believed it before joining the company, was people are not really collaborative, or they're really mean people, or things like that. Those are some of the things that I heard before joining, which was not true at all. So I definitely understand what you're saying.
Agree.
Yeah. So it's probably going to be my last question, but do you have any advice for those who want to join Amazon marketing?
Yes, absolutely. Amazon, as long as you're confident and you really care about the customer, I think those are like the two big things. Everything Amazon does with marketing is always thinking about the customer,
Mm,
and the customer is always changing. And so it's your customer. And as long as you think about them and everything you do, what do they want to be shopping with? What do they want to see? What do they want to read here? What do they want to learn? You will always have the right perspective, and you truly have to be customer obsessed, just like leadership principles say.
yeah.
And joining Amazon as a whole, I think that's the piece that you have to just be confident in. Like, you have to, as long as you know your leadership principles and how they can apply to your life, just be confident in those, because that's what will show off your expertise.
Gotcha. No, that makes total sense. Leadership principles and customer first. Those are definitely important. Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. Hey Bree, thank you so much for your time. This was all for today. Really, really
Thank you,
appreciate it.
Jan.
Thank you.